Welcome to another installment of the Amsoil Information Series. I'm Rob Stenberg. Today we're going to talk about snowblower maintenance. The snow has been flying, winter is here, and we want to make sure that your snowblower works well all the way through the winter season. For some tips on how to keep your snowblower working well, we're going to talk to the experts at Denny's Lawn and Garden. Scott, how you doing today?
Hey Rob, very good. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for letting us be here today. We really appreciate it. We're here to find out the best way to maintain our snowblower, make sure it's ready for the winter season.
Okay, great. For that, we'll walk back to the shop and show you what to do.
All right, let's go. Well, I know, Scott, that part of making sure that a snowblower is working well in the wintertime is making sure that you store it properly. So if I'm going to store this machine, what's the first step I need to take?
First thing I would have started with, every time you buy gas, put the fuel stabilizer in the fuel.
Okay.
That'll make sure that throughout the season it's cleaning the carburetor, keeping everything protected, and at the end of the year it'll be there.
Sure. Now I know a lot of folks say when I put this in storage, some say run it absolutely dry, and others say make sure you've got the gas tank full. Which one do you prefer?
I prefer to run them dry.
Okay.
At the very least, I like to have the carburetor dry. So most of these fuel tanks have a shut-off valve on the bottom. You can shut the fuel valve off, start the engine, let it run till it quits. Then the carburetor is going to be out of fuel. It's going to be dry. Okay,
and we want to make sure that that's dry. So I've got the fuel stabilized. What's next?
From there, I'd take the owner's manual, look at the owner's manual. It's going to say things like change the spark plug, change the oil.
So you want the fresh oil in there. You don't want oil sitting in there, the contaminated oil all summer long.
Right. It's best to have the fresh oil so it protects it the best against rust and so forth.
Sure. So I drain that into a pan, make sure it's all out.
Right. There's no oil filter, so you just drain in the oil and use the proper oil. Most of them recommend synthetic oil now.
Okay. Great. All right. So I've got the fuel stabilized. I've got new engine oil in the engine. Where do I go from there?
I like to protect the metal on the, especially in the auger area.
Okay.
The rocks and gravel coming out will scratch up the inside of the chute, exposing bare metal. So I like to take metal protectors, spray inside of there, spray inside the auger housing. That'll get a lot of scratches and stuff in there too. Another point, since we're up front here, I would take, and there's always a couple grease zerks up here.
Okay.
Take your grease gun to them, grease them. The auger gearbox has gear oil in it. It's a good time to check it, make sure that it's full.
Okay. Anywhere else for grease points on it?
Usually the drive system will have a couple grease points.
Okay.
There's usually one maybe on the axle or one on the cross shaft inside. And good time to grease those.
Make sure that's done before the season, before you put it into storage, before the next winter season starts. How about the controls? What do I need to do there?
All the controls, they all have moving points on them. I would take and with your spray lube, hit each moving point there.
Okay.
Make sure they're working freely. Helps protect them, make sure they don't rust up.
So I did all of this before I put the machine into storage. The snow is flying. It's time for me to start snow blowing. What do I need to check before I use it for the first time this season?
Okay, I'd go back through your owner's manual, make sure you did the maintenance, the proper maintenance.
Okay.
One thing we missed when we're putting it away is I would check your belts, take the belt cover off.
Okay.
Check the belt tension, make sure that the belts are going to last the year. It's a good time to check for critters too, make sure that there's no mouse nests and debris inside.
They like to get in there.
They do. Check your controls, make sure they're working freely. You don't want them to be binding up.
So I need to check my engine oil level, make sure nothing's leaked out, anything like that?
Right, I would check your engine oil again and check the auger gearbox, make sure they're both holding oil.
Okay.
And turn on the fuel supply to the carburetor and set your engine like your engine should start up for you.
Should start right up. So what is the #1 maintenance issue that you see with snowblowers?
#1 we see is bad fuel.
Fuel goes bad quicker than most people think, doesn't it?
It does. Most manufacturers, they all say 30 days, but with a fuel stabilizer, I've seen them extended out to 90 or maybe a year.
So if they've got bad fuel, they run the machine, what happens?
Causes hard starting, poor engine performance, and eventually it's gonna gunk up the carburetor to the point where it doesn't run.
So you could be shoveling snow instead of throwing snow.
Exactly.
Hey Scott, thanks for your time today.
Thanks
I really appreciate it. For another Amsoil Information Series, I'm Rob Stenberg. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.